Hi everyone, my name is Wesley from Unorthodox Productions, and this is just a quick video to check my levels for my live stream tonight. So I'm gonna create just a quick bass line to this track that I've got here, and I'm in E major and I'm following a 6-5-2-3 chord progression. And if I get to this part, this is the melody, it's following a 3-2-6-7, and you can see the numbers here. They are so the 3 corresponds to a G sharp and the others accordingly. And after this I may just run through just efficiently. I'm not here to labor the video. I'll just run through what I'm using on my processes on the instruments I'm using. Of course, I'm just going to play this and then just think of a bass line, and then I'll hit record. Okay, cool. I'm going to go with that. I hope you enjoy. Cool. So that is the bass line, and now let me just quickly show you. In fact, let me take my bass off. Alright, so let me just quickly show you. So I'll save this. So let me just show you what I've got going on with the bass. So I was checking the levels just now, and I found that it wasn't really, so I'll just remove that. It wasn't really cutting through the mix in the way that I wanted it to. So what I did was I added this clip distortion plugin. So I'll just solo this a minute so you can hear it. So I'll just take it off. So that's just the bass line, right? And then add the clip distortion, and it adds a little bit of grit to it so I can cut through easier. But then I found this. I don't use this usually, but added that and it just added so much weight to it. So I thought, yeah man, let me use that. So that sounds good, man. Like it adds exactly what it says, like grit. It just adds grit and like misbehavior kind of thing. It's rebellious. So with my drums is always a popular topic. So I got a little bit of reverb on the drums. So I'll just solo that. So this is like R verb, reverb. And I'm also sending, you can hear I'm sending this this instrument to the same reverb as the drums, so that's what you can hear as well. So that's our verb. And then I like this because it has a very strong compressor setting, which you can kind of just load it up, click the compressor, and you get a more solid signal. So I'll take that out. So without, right? And then with it, just for me, it squishes it together and just makes it all present, rather than in and out of the mix as other things take priority over it in terms of frequency and stuff. So the idea with compression for me is to squeeze it into a smaller space so it's more consistent during the track, rather than sometimes you hear it strong, sometimes you don't, because another instrument is more dominant at that moment. And then this is just an EQ just to control things. And I also have just a compressor. I just like that. So without, with. For me, it just adds a bit more presence. That's what I think compression is for. It adds compressance. It adds presence. It controls the consistency of the sound. So so if you're not familiar with compression, it limits dynamic range. So you can see here, as this kick is hitting, it's removing volume from it. So it's saying you can't be this loud, you can be this loud in this space, and then you compensate for that level loss with the gain. It's called a makeup gain. And then you raised the quieter sounds kind of thing. So you bring the top down and then sort of bring the bottom up with compression. That's one of the uses of it, and it's one I like to utilize in mixes. It makes, for my ear, it makes things solid in a mix used correctly. So these are all my drums here. So then I just have this, which is in Omnisphere, which is King David's lyre, which is pretty cool, man. I like the era that this sound points to. And then I have these other melodic elements. So let me just show you what's happening with this. So that's it's a red EQ from Focusrite. I really like it. I'm filtering off quite a bit from the bottom because I want to make space in the mix for my bass guitar. So kind of don't want anything in the way of that too much unnecessarily. And then I have the NLS channel, which is, so if you're familiar with recording consoles and the magic that multiple channels of audio can impart to music, then this is going in that direction. And I've heard it is quite there was an interview with Jason Joshua, a mixing engineer, and he got a mix in, and I think someone put loads of these on a single channel, and it got very close to the sound of an SSL, like an actual SSL desk. So there is something that they've captured in these plugins, and I do like when they're on everything. Like I have them on everything, all the instruments, not the buses, not these, but I have them on every instance of an instrument because I do hear it. I do hear what they do. They soften the sound. Cool. So, and let's just show you what I'm sending this. I'm sending this instrument to a bus, and this bus here is bus 4. So that's what I'm doing with the EQ. Then the Pultec EQ, I'm pushing the top because it just adds, again, similar with the SSL channel, it just adds this air. It's almost imperceivable what it's boosting. It's like it's not boosting the frequencies of the sound. It's like it's pushing up the air within the sound, and that's pleasing to me. And then I just have the IR1 full reverb with a plate on it. And so then in my mixes I like to, so what I'll do is I'll have the sound, then I'll bus all of that to an output, and then from that output I will send what I need effects wise. So let me just show you what I mean, probably show you better than I can tell you. So these, right, all of these are coming out of bus 3, coming out of here, this green one, and then from there I'm sending to bus 4, and on there I've got EQ, the Pultec, and the reverb. So sending both of these to this channel, because I send both, if I send both, it's like more cohesive. So I'm sending 2 instruments to the same reverb, so the way those 2 sounds interact in this reverb is like how those 2 sounds would interact if they're in the same room, and I want that. So that's what I've got going on there. I'll just show you these instruments. So this sound again is Omnisphere, and this sound here, and on that again I'm making space for my bass line, I don't want that in the way. And then the NLS channel, this time it's the Neve version, because that just again adds this air. I'm a big fan of this air, as you could tell. And then this instrument, same Omnisphere. Oh, and the chords, right? So it's just really basic chords. It's kind of like the simplest expression of these chords. So triads, so just 3 notes, and I'm using a plugin called Scalar. This is like version 1, I think there's version 3 I think they're up to now. But yeah, so I'm in E major, and the chord progression is 6 5 2 3. So 6 5 2 3, and it'll just follow that. And on that I have this plugin, which I quite like. I like the sound of it. So I'm shelving off some bottom. What else I've got? I'm taking off a little bit of top, because I found it was got a bit bright, a bit harsh. And again, an NLS channel Neve. And then on this one, similar thing with this, although I'm taking out a little bit at, well, not a little bit, quite a bit at 390. And I'll just show you that actually, what it will be without that. So if I turn that off, which is fine, but I don't want that when the bass is playing. So see, it's not bad, but it's getting a bit too close to the bass frequencies, so I just took it out. Yeah, it's better. And then yeah, a SSL channel. I'll show you what's on my master actually. So those NLS channels are the channel version, and then this is the bus version, which you place on your stereo output first. When you use the channel version, you put it last on your channel. And then a Pultec, because again, boosting the top air, and also when this is on, it just has an effect. For my ear, it makes the sound a bit wider. So I definitely have that on the master output, and a compressor, SSL. Not doing very much, just kind of taming things a little bit. You can see it's not that 1 to 2 dB of compression. It's more so for what it does to the character of the track, so I'll turn it off. For me, it brings it a touch closer to you. Tricky to explain, but yeah, it's like it brings it closer. That's the best way I can put it. And then just a limiter, because I'm doing a live stream and I must be I must keep control of the level. Alright, so just a quick run through of the individual instruments, but yeah, it's like individual percussive hits that make up the mood. So I'll run through them, but there's not. It's like there's not much key information. Like this is the sum of every decision that I've made with the drums. So it's like if you wanted to mimic the settings, it's like you'd need them all and the same instruments to get the characteristic of the drums that I've got. But I'll run through them anyway. So not much happening there at all. Just a little bit of control. And then I'm again cleaning up the bottom end because I got the bass, pushing a touch at 2.4 and then taking down at the top. In fact, I'll play down. Yeah, not much on this. Just taking a little bit out at 600. This is actually a sound effect I did myself. It's a bottle, a water bottle, much like this, just recorded and put into Logic. And then I've got a delay on that, which is what you can hear. And this is a widener because I love the stereo widening effects, one of my favorites. Also going through a guitar amp. And there's the delay settings. Logic's tape delay. That's the EQ on that. And a different NLS channel of 3. There are 3 options. And this is Contact West Africa Sounds. I really like that when I found it. And another one. I really like that as well. I'll show you what's going on. So just taming the bottom end again and then cutting again for the bass. You can hear I'm still getting the drum sound, but there's no competition. The bass is, clear. Helped a lot by the distortion. And hats. So again, this is Contact. Where are my hats? Okay, yeah, it's in the chorus. So boosting a little bit there, just to help that cut through the mix. And then NLS channel, and I'll just go back to the hats just to show you. Not much really, just cutting off the bottom. It's one of my favorite EQs. I like the high pass. I like the EQs. I like the top end. I like the bottom. It's just cool. And also a trick that I like to use is to have an instrument and then send it to a bus and then make that bus wider. So with. It's like it's really subtle, but adds a good effect. So what I've got going on there is pull tech again, pushing the top. Big fan of that. And then the panning. I'm kind of just experimenting with this. I'm not too sure if I'm going to keep it. Alright, and then the kicks, what we love. So this is Contact, just a standard kick. So going through an API, and I'm peaking on this because I like the way it sounds. then into a filter, peaking on that as well, and then NLS, SSL, and then another kick. Just solo both of those. It's like a little thud, little sub thud, and then cymbals. Oh, on that sub thud. So I'm actually boosting quite a bit to get that on that kick, that sub thud, and yeah, NLS. Then on this cymbal, pushing the top end because it's a cymbal and I want that brightness. And what am I doing on that one? Yeah, cutting and pushing a little bit at 600 actually, which is interesting. And then NLS, and then there we are, back to where I would explained. Alright, cool. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going live this evening at 8:30 PM British Standard Time on TikTok and Facebook. So yeah, join me there if you're interested in a 10-minute. So this whole track is what I'm going to be creating the bass line to. It's a 10-minute bass guitar loop live stream. So I go on the live stream, much like this, go on the live stream, say hi everyone, talk a little bit about theory, about this stuff here, a bit about what I'm doing, what notes I'm choosing, and then I create a bass line for 10 minutes and then I upload it to my website. Then you can buy that as soon as I've uploaded it. I have QR codes. Where would I be? I have QR codes on the screen. They're not on there now. Yeah, so join me later. Hope you enjoyed. Until then, make great music and enjoy life. And I'll just play the track and then I'll end the video.